by her own rules. An actress, writer, director. Her career encompasses so much that it's difficult to sort of encapsulate it all in one go, but she's such an example and an inspiration for Indian women everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Neena Gupta. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. Please have a seat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, her sense of style has revolutionized the Indian fashion industry and made everyone take note of what they are wearing. She's Mr. Anil Kapoor's younger daughter, an extremely successful producer. And I would like to invite her on stage, Rhea Kapoor. Rhea, thanks for being here. Mr. Mobile. And last but clearly not the least, we'd like to invite on stage Neena Gupta's daughter, Masaba Gupta, one of India's fashion brightest new stars. She's carved a niche for herself with her quirky and revolutionary designs, and also is the youngest fashion creative director. So let's have a huge round of applause for Masaba Gupta. Thank you so much for being here. So guys, just a couple of questions as I rotate on my seat. We're just going to hand out some mics. They're quite comfortable, yeah. We've removed that sudden fall problem with these chairs, which people have, and just made them fix. Now that everybody's comfortable, my first couple of questions are for Rhea and Masaba. You know, when there's kids are like CCTV cameras after a certain age towards their parents. Like, you're always watching them. This is true, sir. You're always, You're always being watched. You know, and then they judge you also a little bit. And they take things from you and learn things from you. So what are the things that either directly or indirectly you've seen about your parents that you've imbibed into your life or always fall back on as a great learning?
I think for me, it's just been, I mean, for me, obviously, it's just been my mom that I've, constantly seen growing up. And I think the one thing that I've really picked up from her is that, she's always laughing at herself. I think that one thing of having a good sense of humor, right, and, never taking yourself too seriously, personally or professionally, I think that's one thing I picked up. The other thing is that she's always been very focused on her health. She's someone who has constantly stressed on the fact that, be healthy, take care of yourself, take care of your body, it'll reward you later. So I think these are the few things I picked up, but this one really sticks with me, especially now because I'm getting older. It's coming back. It's all coming back to me, and it's all that she told me is now making sense finally.
But then the culture of that, looking after yourself, a certain level of self-preservation has always been in the family then, even from a young kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because I feel like she said, and as kids you tend not to listen because you're like, no.
Yeah.
But I think
that's just an answer you have to have.
You have to have. But I think for me, as I'm growing up now, I feel like it's more and more important because when you're over 40, you won't really have. She's like, you won't have hair, and you won't have this, and you won't have skin and eyes.
What is happening? I mean, what happened?
She gave me these extreme reactions, which is why I'm like this. So yeah.
Shut up.
No, you have to scare them. So you're thinking the day you hit 40, it's going to be the most paranoid day
everything will be finished.
Like, my hair's going to fall.
If you're Anil Kapoor's child, you never have that fear. You will always have hair.
You're forever young.
Yeah.
And always.
Yeah. There's no genetic issues there in this side of the family.
No, I think I'm safe.
Rhea, please tell us your answer on that. What have you observed about your dad and
I think, like,
your parents?
The one most important thing that I was recently discussing this with one of my friends as well is that, when we were growing up, my mother really, she never let us have a sense of the industry that my dad was part of. Like, I knew that dad was an actor and I knew all these things, but no matter what happened, the atmosphere at home would stay the same. If his movies did well, I didn't know. If his movies did not do that well, I didn't know. The reaction was always the same, and I think that that's something he's always instilled in me. He said, react nahi karne ka, move on, move on, right, move on, move on. Just work hard and move on. And I think he's just been so, he's been so positive. He doesn't really have a temper. He doesn't take in a lot of stress. I think that's another reason that everyone's like, dude, your dad looks so young. I'm like, what about react to me? I'm looking great, you know? like, I think that's one of the reasons, because he doesn't harbor any negativity. And I think that I hope that I've taken that from him. I mean, I don't remember the last time I got really angry or lost my temper at someone. And I can say the same of my father as well, you know.
Yeah.
He's really patient. He's really understanding. He gives everyone a second chance, you know. I remember many years ago, I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something happened within our company, and he was like, you know, I've never let go of anyone from a job, ever. And I was like, you know, he's like, I've always believed in second chances. I've always believed in forgiveness. I've always believed in moving on and staying positive and believing in the good in people and yourself, you know. And that's what, I hope to take from him always, because I feel like it makes you a good businesswoman. It makes you a good human being. And he's always been, you know, even though he's worked so much, his influence on me as a father, and sort of shaping my morality, it's been extreme, you know. And I think that that's the only way to really influence someone's personality as a child, is love, you know.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Mr. Kapoor and Mrs. Gupta, I want to ask you guys, what makes, like, kids have a really, with every age, their way of showing love keeps shifting. What makes you guys feel loved?
What makes me feel love?
No, not you. But have you asked you the question? I'm asking them the question. Every question. Well, I am like looking there and asking the question. No, as parents, you know, what makes you guys feel loved by your kids?
Ladies first.
नहीं आप बोली
I think both have got really sentimental, huh? We're really emotional. Yeah, you know, these things happen to parents. And this is the first. So, what did you come again? Sorry, I went
How
to,
they make you feel loved. मैंने इसलिए नहीं बोला, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही थी
हाँ.
क्या बोलूं, तो मैंने कहा आप पहले बोलो.
हाँ.
तो इस दौरान मुझे समझ में आ गई कि मैंने क्यों ऐसा कहा.
हाँ.
Because you cannot put it in words.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
question का answer, I cannot put it in words.
I understand.
It cannot be A, B, C, D. It's the whole package deal, you know, the
Right.
whole package.
I know.
I don't think I can explain.
I think every moment spent, every second spent looking at your children and, you know, good, bad, positive, their smile, their happiness. I think, you know, every time we feel loved.
Yeah.
You know, it's everything they do, we feel loved, yeah.
And has there been a role reversal of kind? Have you started noticing that your kids are becoming your parents and have become like pretty dictatorial about, like, you need to do this, you need to
Yes,
start
yes,
eating right?
absolutely.
What?
She screams at me, shouts at me, tells me what to do, tells me how to behave, tells me what to wear. You know, sometimes it becomes too much, but I have learned a lot because I feel today, if I'm with the times,
Yeah,
in every which way, is because of her.
right.
You know, which song is happening or which is not happening. All these things, then you grow with them. So now they tell us what's happening in the world, you know.
Right. She's your software update.
Yeah, yeah.
With me, it's the other way around.
Ah.
I update them.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that that's not
Checkmate,
true.
Rhea.
I just want you to know that's not true. You can just, please, I just want you to see the fashion evolution alone, and you will know.
It's whose blood is it, yeah. सिखाया किसने? Well, of course, Rhea and so, you know, all three are totally different. But you all don't know my son, of course. He's not here. But he becomes more like a, you know, sometimes like a parent and tells me what to do and what not to do and, you know, the deals and how much money I should ask. Don't let go, yeah. Well, actually, you're saying it because you want the money or because... because ultimately the money is going to come to all three of you.
Yeah.
So you're worried about your piece of cake or you're actually worried about me?
Correct.
You know? So, yeah, he is a kind of a person who, of course, sometimes behaves like the elderly, not only to me, to all of us.
So he's
the youngest.
He's the youngest, but he's the elder in the family.
He's the elder in the family.
And who's the motivator for you? Who's the one who's like, you have to do this, you have to go for more? No one.
I'm my own guru.
auntie's going to be very
Rhea, you've
unhappy.
done nothing.
And useless.
Zero input, quite frankly speaking. Ma'am, I wanted to also ask you, you've spoken quite a few times about the support that you received from your own father during your life and during some tough times. How much does a parent's love and support mean, and how has it influenced your life?
I feel whatever I am today is because of my parents. The good, bad,
Right.
whatever. And I have told a lot of people in interviews and all, I could go through life. I had a very tough life because of certain decisions I made. I said if I could go through everything because I knew that my parents will take me back.
Right.
Okay, that if I have done a mistake and if I go back, they will take me in. If I didn't have that, maybe I would have gone in a wrong direction, or I don't know. But I always say to everybody that don't think what I have done you can also do. Do you have parents like mine?
Right.
You know,
Right.
so that is the main strength of anyone. Even like today, a few years back, my father was alive. He was even then it was like that.
Right.
You know, so I think that's
So,
most
like,
important.
beyond any judgment, beyond right and wrong, they always
Yeah.
just been there.
They might scold you, they might hit you, they might abuse you, but they are there for you. Very important for
Right.
anything.
Right. Without that, it's really difficult to sort of move
Very
on.
tough, very tough.
But I want to, here's a question for both of you. Post the age of 50, a lot of people, and a lot in our country especially, they just start to dramatically slow down. Even emotionally, they feel, they blame a lot on just being a certain age, like, okay, now what am I going to do? Whereas with both of you, you guys have embarked on new chapters, new adventures, almost sort of with youth, it's like I feel like you've rebooted a whole new career. It's another, yeah, it's like, okay, I've done this, now we start from zero and go hit that and out of the park too. So, really, what drives you, keeps you motivated constantly to want to do these things? And why do you think it's not hitting a lot of people in India? After a certain age, they just feel like, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, 50 हो गया, I can't
This
move.
question, I can't answer this question.
Sir,
Sorry.
sir,
Because
मेरे
not
ऐसे
for,
तो मैं
because not
बहुत
for me. I'm not 50.
So I also say, so what do you think about those people? I mean, I'm like, there are these people.
You ask me.
The others.
Yeah.
Then I can answer for them.
As our elders, what do you think the issue with our elders is, sir? Let me reiterate.
Because the way you asked me the question.
नहीं, sorry, sir.
So I have to leave this.
गलत लिख दिया मैंने.
Yes, yeah. So I feel, of course, now the new 40 is the new almost 25 or the 30. The new 50 is the 40, and the new 60 is the new 30. So. Well, I think, matter of fact, today, all of you all are much more fortunate that you have so much of information available to you on the tip of your finger. When I was in my 30s, obviously, I was not aware of so many things, or 20s, it depends on, from where you come from, your background, your parents. So my parents were not very physically conscious people at all. My mom and dad were not completely. That also makes a lot of difference. When you have your parents who are physically conscious.
Absolutely.
So I, in a way, you can say I am the torchbearer of the Khandan. Because my dad and grandfather, basically, they believed in only walks. So
but that's a great thing you said, because it's a cultural Indian thing. Walk hi karte the after
So walk. So obviously I started with walks. So I used to go with my grandfather when I used to, go with him for walks, long walks. And obviously I combined it with my voice exercises also, because I wanted to be an actor from the time I came into my senses. So I combined my walks and my voice, and I used to go and, leave him and go to climb a big tanki, go up so that nobody looks at me, and start shouting and doing my voice exercise. And these kind of things I used to do when I was a kid with my grandfather. So that's the journey of the physicality and the consciousness of being fit. And for me, the fitness was that he was, if I remember, he was in his 80s, but he would have a good meal. He never dieted.
Yeah.
He had a good meal. And the meetha was very important.
बिल्कुल,
You know,
बिल्कुल, yeah.
अगर बोला क्या मीठा बना हुआ है तो बोला कस्टर्ड बना है. Custard was a very, was a common man's dessert. Custard and jelly. Okay, अब custard and jelly नहीं बना हुआ है. So then he would open his cupboard where his clothes were there, and he would have a piece of that sugar. वो जो उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Cube. वो जो rock होता है ना sugar का. Mishri. So I think almost till he touched 90,
Right.
after his meal, he would have his meal and he would have that mishri. So that was but obviously that what kept him fit was his walks. So I started with that, and then of course there were other gyms which came up after that, which were very, was the Talwalkar gym. So my first time I really went into a gym was in Talwalkar gym.
Right.
तो हम लोग का क्या होता था, हम लोग जो एक्टर्स थे, मैं, Jackie and all those kind of guys, when we started our careers, and, that kind of thing. The first time you go to the party, now these days they only talk about the health and the fitness and all. So हमारा सिर्फ ये था कि buffet किधर है.
That's
First go to the buffet, or someone want to have a drink or whatever. So I was not really fond of drinking or something like that. So I was like one of the boring guys of the industry. So that's what is really, I'm reaping the harvest. Initially I was known as the boring actor who was, that I would have my meal and I would go home and not have late nights. And there used to be parties at my house and, from films, and all my friends would come and the host would be sleeping.
Wow.
I would have my meal and go to sleep. So I think that has really worked. The simplicity of my, the way I have led my life. Very, very simple.
And you haven't
I've
also
not really gone into intense dieting or, food habits or, exercising like a madman or, having protein shakes or क्या कुछ लगाते हैं injection वगैरह, पता नहीं, I don't know what it is, those kind of things, to build their bodies around. So for me, it's been very, very simple. Matter of fact, I was in London and I was very fortunate to meet Mr. Fauja Singh, who's about, who's a marathon runner.
Absolutely.
And he's about 105 to 106 years old.
106.
So I also asked him, I said, what is, आप क्या करते हैं, क्या खाते हैं, कैसे क्या करते हैं. तो सबसे तो I'm a good listener. So I keep on reinventing and listening to people who are much more educative and much more, जिनके पास ज़्यादा ज्ञान है मेरे से. तो मुझे तो लगता है constantly I can always learn.
Right.
So for him it's basically simple positivity and simple life, which has kept him going. Nothing which is really extreme.
Yeah.
And so that's been my life
He
also.
has the most,
yeah.
I read his diet and there's like nothing
Yeah,
there.
so I think coming to your question, what I would say is positivity.
Right.
As Rhea just observed about that, I don't believe in harboring negativity. I forgive and I see the good side of the people rather than saying, first I see the good sides. And most of the time, the good side is much more than the bad side.
Right.
So that keeps me very, very positive.
Right.
And I move on. I've got my own way of forgetting anything which is going to, stress me or, be negative. Right. So I have to have a separate session for that. To tell what exactly I do for being, to keep myself positive and fit and energetic and excited about my work. Because the more fitter you are, the more you feel good about yourself. And as I said, that one more thing which I would like to say, which I would like to share with all of you all, is that there's 1.5 hour of your life you should dedicate totally to yourself. Completely.
Right.
No wife, no mother, no father, no children, no work, no profession. That
Right.
can wait. So when you give that 1.5 hour to yourself, mentally and physically, and that's what I've been following, that 1.5 hour, that gives me the positivity, the energy, the strength, everything to be nicer and from, professionally, personally, as a parent. Because if I'm feeling good about myself, I can really give a lot.
But that 1.5 hours, do you count as also your like exercise time, or this is a 1.5 hours?
No, 1.5 hour everything. One
Okay.
and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
Where I sit. But I'm with my thoughts
Yeah.
and with the people I want to be with.
That's a great
You know,
point, yeah.
and talk about, obviously most of the time talking about how I'm feeling, so how the day will begin, so what is your feeling, so what kind of exercise I should do.
Right.
Today I should just walk, or I should run,
Yeah.
or I should do weights, or should I
Right.
do yoga today? No, today I should swim. And what I'm going to do. So
Right.
basically I don't, it's not a set routine. I keep on improvising you know,
So
functional.
you listen to yourself.
Listen to
basically.
myself,
Yeah.
and I keep on listening to people who are much more aware of, and I keep on learning because the world is such today that everything is growing and science is growing, and sometimes some food is good, some food is not good.
And they change also, sir,
The
every
change is
month.
also happening. So you have to
Month
keep
also.
your ears and eyes open. So that's
Yeah.
what I've done. Yeah.
Right. I think that's a couple of great points there, sir. One is that also you eat dessert still.
100%.
You're
yeah.
not these.
मैं अपने प्लेट से नहीं खाता, दूसरों के प्लेट से खाता हूँ. So everybody says whenever they're, you know, with me, they say that, you know, actually you order your own dessert. नहीं, मैं नहीं खाऊंगा यार.
Achha, you're that kanta which
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
from-
yeah, yeah. I said, नहीं, नहीं यार, you know, खाने के बारे, I'll have just little dessert.
That kone ka kanta jo aata hai. Chum, I'll have a small. But ma'am, wanted to ask you, do you also get time to take an hour and a half out for yourself? How have you sort of struck the balance for yourself? What has worked for you?
Yoga in the morning,
Okay.
45 minutes, and 1 hour walk in the evening. I'm addicted to walks. Addicted.
So both of you have kept the old
Addicted.
school and added to it. But, you
Yeah,
know,
because you see, I have a problem. Like I like vada pav, puri aloo, bhajia pav. Those are like somebody that day asked me what turns you on. I said vada pav. So it's like so I like these things. I don't have meetha because I like these things. So I do like balance. Like if I have vada pav, then I'll have khichdi in the night. You know. So, and and I'm a vegetarian because of my parents. I have never had non-vegetarian, so I'm lucky because क्या खाऊंगी दाल रोटी सब्जी रोटी दाल चावल है ना यही खाऊंगी. But I think my walk has saved me. And एक प्रॉब्लम है कि दिल अभी जवान है शरीर जवान नहीं रहा.